When Mickie James did this, fans were shocked. Or was it the moment when Chyna pinned Jeff Jarrett to become the first female Intercontinental Champion in history? These female wrestlers didn't just break barriers, they smashed them. From AJ Lee's shocking kisses to one of the most daring female wrestlers, Sable, these women prove that they know how to put on a show, and they're just as tough as their male counterparts. Get ready to relive some of the most intense and unforgettable moments in women's wrestling history that left fans speechless. Mickie James, one shocking event that left fans and insiders stunned was the clash between Mickie James and Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22. This match wasn't just a showdown between two talented wrestlers, it was the climax of a storyline that had captivated fans for months. The lead up to WrestleMania 22 was intense, with Mickie James playing the role of a crazed, obsessed fan of Trish Stratus. Mickie's character was unstable, her fixation on Trish growing more disturbing each week. She copied Trish's moves, dressed like her, and even tried to befriend her, all while acting more and more erratic. This gripping storyline drew fans in, creating a real sense of anticipation for their showdown. As WrestleMania 22 neared, excitement reached a fever pitch. Fans couldn't wait to see how this twisted tale would end in the ring. The atmosphere in the arena was electric, as Mickie and Trish made their entrances with the crowd cheering for Mickie. Despite her villainous role, the stage was set for an unforgettable match. From the start, Mickie James took control, targeting Trish Stratus's left leg with ruthless precision. Trish, always a professional, sold the injury brilliantly, adding to the drama. Fans were on the edge of their seats cheering as Mickie dominated her idol-turned-rival. The match took a dramatic turn when Mickie countered a Stratusfaction attempt uniquely. She posed to the camera with a shocking, suggestive taunt, grabbing Trish in a way that simulated an oral gesture. This left the audience in stunned silence before they erupted in cheers. As the match continued, Mickie tried to execute a Stratusfaction of her own. However, both women struggled to perform the move, resulting in a botched spot that couldn't be hidden. The crowd gasped as the move fell apart, but Mickie quickly recovered, using her version of Trish's chick kick called the Mick Kick to win the match. The fans erupted in applause, celebrating Mickie's hard-fought victory despite the botched spot. The match was memorable for its intensity and shocking moments. However, the aftermath was just as dramatic. Backstage, Vince McMahon was furious over Mickie's suggestive taunt. He confronted her, angry about the time, effort, and money it would take to edit the footage for future broadcast. Mickie James's controversial moment at WrestleMania 22 became one of the most talked about incidents in wrestling history. The suggestive taunt and botched spot were edited out of future versions of the match, but the memory of that night remains vivid for fans who witnessed it live. Paige. Let's move our attention to one of the most unforgettable moments in WWE history involving Paige and Natalya. This incident took place in 2015 and is still talked about today for its sheer audacity and shock value. Paige, known for her rebellious persona and gothic appearance, was set to face off against the veteran Natalya in a match that was part of the Total Divas storyline. The clash between these two wrestlers was already highly anticipated, but what happened during the match took everyone by surprise. Paige, whose real name is Saraya Jade Beavis, has always been a standout in the WWE Universe. She was not like the other girls, and she was here to break all the rules with her black hair, pale skin, and punk rock attitude. She was a breath of fresh air in a world dominated by more conventional female wrestlers. Her character was designed to be the antithesis of the typical WWE diva, and she embraced this role wholeheartedly. Paige's rebellious nature often clashed with the more traditional and conservative characters, making her a fan favorite and a constant source of controversy. On the other hand, Natalya, whose real name is Natalie Catherine Neidhart Wilson, came from a long line of wrestling royalty as the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart and a member of the legendary Hart family. Natalya had wrestling in her blood. She was known for her technical prowess and her dedication to the sport. The match between Paige and Natalya was set up to be a classic clash of personalities. As the match progressed, it became clear that Paige had no intention of playing it safe. She was in her element, taunting Natalya and playing to the crowd. The tension between the two wrestlers was huge, and the audience was on the edge of their seats. Then, in a moment that left everyone in shock, Paige did something that no one saw coming. She licked Natalya's face. The act was suggestive and provocative, and it immediately shocked the WWE Universe. The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and gasps, and the commentators were left speechless. It was a moment that would be replayed and discussed for years to come. The Fabulous Moolah. As we delve deeper into the world of female wrestlers who took things far, it is essential to acknowledge the early pioneers like the Fabulous Moolah, born Mary Lillian Ellison in 1923. Moolah's career spanned over 5 decades, making her one of the most influential figures in women's wrestling. However, her legacy is not without its dark and controversial aspects. Moolah began her wrestling career in the 1940s, a time when women's wrestling was still in its infancy. She quickly rose to prominence, capturing the Women's World Championship in 1956. Moolah's dominance in the ring was exceptional, as she held the title for a combined total of over 30 years. Her in-ring prowess and charisma made her a household name, and she became a symbol of female empowerment in a male-dominated industry. But Moolah's influence extended beyond her wrestling career. She established a wrestling school, training and promoting a new generation of female wrestlers. Many of her trainees went on to achieve great success in the industry, crediting Moolah for their skills and opportunities. However, beneath the surface of her seemingly benevolent mentorship lay a series of troubling allegations that would later come to light. In the mid-2000s, former trainees began to speak out against Moolah, accusing her of financial and sexual exploitation. These allegations gained significant attention in 2018 when WWE announced the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. The backlash was severe, with fans and former wrestlers alike condemning the decision to honor Moolah. WWE ultimately renamed the event to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal in response to the outcry. Also, one of the most damning accusations against Moolah was that she had been pimping out her trainees to male wrestlers and promoters. Several women claimed that Moolah would arrange for them to be sent to various wrestling events only to find themselves coerced into sexual activities. These allegations show Moolah's behind-the-scenes actions, contrasting sharply with her public persona as a trailblazing wrestler. Bruce Pritchard, a wrestling executive, discussed these allegations on his podcast, Something to Wrestle With. Pritchard acknowledged the dark cloud over Moolah's legacy, stating that while she was a significant figure in wrestling history, the accusations could not be ignored. Despite these allegations, Moolah's impact on women's wrestling cannot be denied, and the revelations about her exploitative behavior have left a lasting stain on her legacy. Chyna. Our next story about a female wrestler who pushed the limits is about the legendary Chyna, known as the ninth wonder of the world. Chyna's career was full of groundbreaking moments. One of the most shocking and controversial was her feud with Jeff Jarrett in 1999. This feud ended in a match that changed the landscape of women's wrestling forever. Chyna, whose real name was Joanie Laurer, broke barriers from the moment she entered the wrestling ring. She was a powerhouse with a physique and strength that rivaled many male wrestlers. Her presence was intimidating, and she quickly became a force to be reckoned with in the WWE. Chyna's willingness to compete against men set her apart from other female wrestlers and earned her a unique place in wrestling history. The feud between Chyna and Jeff Jarrett began in the summer of 1999. Jarrett, who was the Intercontinental Champion at the time, was known for his chauvinistic attitude and belief that women had no place in the wrestling ring. This made him the perfect opponent for Chyna, who was determined to prove that women could compete on the same level as men. The tension between the two was palpable, and their rivalry quickly became one of the most talked-about storylines in WWE. The climax of their feud came at the No Mercy pay-per-view event in October 1999. The match was billed as a good housekeeping match, meaning household items could be used as weapons. This added extra controversy to their heated rivalry, playing into Jarrett's chauvinistic persona. The stage was set for a brutal and unforgettable encounter. From the moment the bell rang, it was clear that this match would be unlike anything fans had seen before. Chyna and Jarrett fought with a ferocity that left the audience in awe. The ring quickly became a battlefield, with both competitors using everything from frying pans to ironing boards as weapons. Chyna showed no hesitation as she wielded these household items with devastating effect, proving she could hold her own against Jarrett. The match reached its Peak when Jarrett tried to use a kitchen sink as a weapon only for Chyna to counter with a low blow. The crowd erupted in cheers as Chyna took the opportunity to deliver a series of punishing blows to Jarrett. The intensity of the match continued to build, with both wrestlers taking and delivering incredible amounts of punishment. In a shocking turn of events, Chyna emerged victorious, pinning Jarrett to become the first and only woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship. Up next, Mickie Knuckles. Our next story takes us into the brutal world of hardcore wrestling. Here, one woman's willingness to endure and inflict extreme pain has made a lasting impact on the industry. This is the story of Mickie Knuckles, known for her brutal matches in promotions like IWA Mid-South and CZW. There, she has faced both men and women in some of the most violent matches in wrestling history. Mickie Knuckles began her journey into hardcore wrestling in the early 2000s. From the start, it was clear that Mickie was not your typical wrestler. She had fierce determination and a willingness to push her body to its limits, quickly earning a reputation as one of the toughest competitors in the business. Her matches were intense and brutal, often leaving her battered and bloodied, but never defeated. In one memorable match, the ring ropes were replaced with strands of barbed wire, turning the ring into a nightmarish battlefield. For many wrestlers, just the thought of such a match would be terrifying, but for Mickie Knuckles, it was another chance to prove her strength. The match began with a sense of dread hanging over the arena. Fans knew they were about to witness something truly brutal. They were not disappointed. From the opening bell, Mickie and her opponent Ian tore into each other with a ferocity that left the audience in stunned silence. Barbed wire quickly came into play, with both wrestlers being whipped into the sharp strands. Their flesh tearing and blood flowing freely, Mickie Knuckles showed no fear as she faced her opponent. Her face a mask of determination and pain, she took and delivered punishing blows with an array of weapons, from steel chairs to fluorescent light tubes. As the match wore on, the violence escalated to almost unbearable levels. Mickie and Ian took turns driving each other into the barbed wire, their bodies becoming increasingly mangled with each passing minute. The crowd watched in a mixture of horror and awe as Mickie continued to fight. In the end, Mickie Knuckles emerged victorious. But the true victory was in the statement she made. Melina is another noteworthy example of a female wrestler who pushed the boundaries. She entered the WWE in the mid-2000s and quickly gained attention with her unique and athletic skills. She started as the manager of MMA tag team with Johnny Nitro, later John Morrison and Joey Mercury. Melina's charisma and in-ring ability soon led her to the women's division, where she became a multi-time women's champion. However, Melina's career was not without controversy, and she often took things to the extreme. One major rumor involved her alleged affair with Batista while she was dating fellow WWE superstar John Morrison. The gossip escalated when Smith, Hart, Honky Tonk Man, and Val Venus hinted at the affair. London and Kendrick also mentioned her alleged infidelities in their first shoot interview. The most significant piece of evidence came from Batista himself, who referred to Melina as a friend in his book. Fueling further speculation, the locker room buzzed with the scandal, and it was said that John Morrison, eager to fit in, allowed the affair to happen. This rumor depicted Morrison as more focused on his career than his personal life. London and Kendrick mentioned that Morrison knew his position was delicate. Confronting Batista could have jeopardized his job. The situation was so tense that Vince McMahon reportedly wanted Morrison to stand up to Batista. When he didn't, it allegedly cost him Vince's respect and any significant career advancement. Not everyone believed in the affair. Some thought Batista and Melina got together after she and Morrison broke up, making it less of an affair and more of a rebound. Batista tried to clarify in his book and interviews that he and Melina didn't date until after her breakup with Morrison. Despite this, the rumor persisted among the locker room and fans. Tommy Dreamer recounted how wrestlers reacted when they heard about Batista and Melina. He mentioned that most wanted Morrison to take action, even Vince. When Morrison didn't, it was seen as a sign of weakness, and his career suffered. The rumor affected Melina's reputation. Someone using their backstage influence spread it. This person was respected enough that their word was taken seriously, further damaging Melina's standing. Despite the controversy, Melina excelled in the ring. She became a multi-time women's champion and one of the most memorable female wrestlers of her era. Sable. Let's delve into the story of Sable, one of the most influential and daring figures in WWE female history. Born Raina Marlette Lesnar, Sable made her WWE debut in the mid-1990s and quickly became a sensation. Her arrival marked a significant shift in how women were presented in WWE, and her impact on the industry is still felt today. Initially, Sable joined WWE as the valet for her then-husband Mark Marrow. However, it didn't take long for her to outshine him. She became a star in her own right. With her stunning looks and undeniable charisma, Sable captivated audiences. She became one of the most popular figures in WWE. This rise to fame coincided with the Attitude Era, a time when boundaries were pushed and rules were broken. During the Monday Night Wars between WWE and WCW, a period when WWE was eager to attract viewers by any means necessary, one of the most memorable moments in Sable's career came at the 1998 Over the Edge pay-per-view event in a match against Jacqueline. Sable wore a handprint bikini, an outfit that left little to the imagination and pushed the boundaries of what was acceptable on television at the time. Sable's impact wasn't limited to the wrestling ring. In 1999, she posed for Playboy magazine, becoming the first WWE diva to do so. Her Playboy issue was a massive success, selling over 1 million copies and solidifying her status as a sex symbol. Sable's decision to pose for Playboy was a bold move that blurred the lines between wrestling and mainstream entertainment, further cementing her legacy as a trailblazer. However, Sable's career was not without controversy. In 1999, she filed a $110 million lawsuit against WWE alleging sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions. Sable claimed that she was subjected to inappropriate behavior and that WWE had created a hostile work environment. The lawsuit was eventually settled out of court, but it left a lasting impact on Sable's career and reputation. Sable's departure from WWE in 1999 marked the end of an era, but her influence on the industry continued. She made a brief return to WWE in 2003, where she was involved in several high-profile storylines, including a feud with Tori Wilson and a romantic angle with Vince McMahon. Despite her controversial past, and helped pave the way for future generations of female wrestlers. Lita, she is one of the most iconic female wrestlers in WWE history, with a career full of jaw-dropping moments that left fans in awe. Lita's journey to wrestling stardom began in the late 1990s, inspired by Mexico's lucha libre style, which she discovered during a trip to Mexico. This high-flying, acrobatic style would become her trademark and set her apart from other female wrestlers of her time. She made her WWE debut in 2000, aligning herself with Essa Rios, but it was her partnership with the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, that truly catapulted her to fame. Lita's daredevil antics and fearless attitude quickly made her a fan favorite. She was not afraid to take risks performing moves that were typically reserved for male wrestlers. Her signature move, the moonsault, became a highlight of her matches and showcased her incredible athleticism. But it wasn't just her in-ring abilities that made Lita stand out. It was her willingness to push boundaries and create moments that would be remembered for years to come. One incident stands out. One of the most unforgettable incidents in Lita's career occurred during a match with Trish Stratus. Trish and Lita had one of the most storied rivalries in WWE history, with both women pushing each other to new heights. Their matches were always intense, filled with high drama and incredible athleticism. However, during one particular match, Lita took things to a whole new level. In a move that stunned everyone, Lita forcefully kissed Trish on the mouth. This unexpected act was not just a display of dominance, but also a moment that blurred the lines between reality and the scripted world of wrestling. The kiss was shocking, provocative, and completely unexpected. It became one of the most talked about moments in WWE history, showcasing Lita's willingness to go to extreme lengths to make an impact. The kiss was more than just a shocking moment. It was a statement. It showed that Lita was not afraid to break the mold and challenge the status quo in a key industry dominated by men. Lita proved that female wrestlers could be just as daring, controversial, and unforgettable. Despite facing numerous injuries, including a devastating neck injury that required surgery and kept her out of action for over a year, Lita's determination and passion for wrestling never wavered. She made a triumphant return to the ring, continuing to push boundaries and create unforgettable moments. Lita's influence extends beyond her ring career, inspiring countless female wrestlers to pursue their dreams and break down barriers in the wrestling industry. In 2014, Lita was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting recognition of her incredible career and contributions to the wrestling world. Next up, AJ Lee. AJ Lee, born April Jeanette Mendez, is a wrestling legend who shook up WWE with her wild persona and amazing skills. Growing up in a tough environment in New Jersey, AJ found comfort in wrestling, idolizing female wrestlers like Lita and Trish Stratus. Her passion led her to pursue a career in wrestling, starting training in 2007 at the age of 20. After working in various independent promotions, AJ signed a developmental contract with WWE in 2009 and began her journey in WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling, EFCW. AJ made her main roster debut in 2011 on the third season of WWE's reality competition show, NXT. Her energetic personality quickly made her a fan favorite, and it wasn't long before she became a prominent figure on WWE television. One of the most shocking and memorable moments of AJ's career came during a storyline involving multiple male wrestlers. In a single night, AJ kissed John Cena, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan, leaving fans and fellow wrestlers stunned. AJ's storyline with Daniel Bryan was another example of her willingness to take things far. The two were involved in a troubling on-screen relationship that saw AJ's character evolve from a lovesick girlfriend to a manipulative and unpredictable force. The storyline culminated in a memorable moment at WrestleMania 28, where AJ's kiss with Daniel Bryan led to his quick defeat by Sheamus in just 18 seconds. This shocking moment became one of the most talked-about events of the night and solidified AJ's status as a key player in WWE. AJ's career continued to reach new heights when she became the general manager of Monday Night Raw in 2012, a position she held for several months. Her tenure was filled with drama, controversy, and unforgettable moments, showcasing her versatility and ability to captivate audiences in various roles. However, it was her in-ring performances that truly defined her career. AJ Lee's in-ring abilities were second to none, known for her technical prowess, agility, and ability to tell a compelling story through her matches. In 2013, AJ won the WWE Divas Championship, a title she would hold for a record-setting 295 days. Her reign was marked by memorable feuds with wrestlers like Caitlyn, Natalya, and Naomi, and incredible matches that solidified her status as one of the top female wrestlers in WWE. Despite facing numerous injuries and personal struggles, including her battle with bipolar disorder, which she openly discussed in her memoir, Crazy Is My Superpower, AJ remained a force in the wrestling world. She retired in 2015, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable moments and groundbreaking achievements that continue to inspire wrestlers and fans alike. Lastly, Sunny was a trailblazer in wrestling, and her story is one of the most controversial and captivating in WWE history. As one of the most popular figures in the mid-1990s, Sunny's relationships with fellow wrestlers, especially Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, created a whirlwind of drama that fascinated fans and shook the WWE locker room. Sunny's relationship with Shawn Michaels began dramatically in the mid-1990s. Shawn was attacked by a group of men at a bar, leaving him severely injured with no one else to help. Sunny, who was staying in the same hotel, made sure he received medical attention and visited him daily as he recovered. This act of kindness sparked a close relationship that quickly turned romantic. Their affair was hardly a secret. Sunny and Shawn were often seen together, and their chemistry was undeniable. They even went on vacation to Jamaica, where their relationship deepened. Sunny later detailed their adventures in her autobiography. However, this relationship was complicated by the fact that Sunny was already involved with another wrestler, Chris Candido, known as Skip. The affair was an open secret in the WWE locker room, causing tension and disapproval among their peers. The Sunny Days promo insinuated that Bret Hart had been involved with Sunny. The locker room was stunned, and Bret didn't immediately understand the implication. It wasn't until later that night that other wrestlers explained the meaning behind Shawn's words. The fallout from this promo was immense. Bret's personal life was thrown into confusion, and he ultimately backed out of his match with Shawn. The Sunny Days promo added fuel to the already raging fire of the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart rivalry. It also deepened the rift between Sunny and Shawn, whose romantic relationship had already ended, but who still had to work together professionally. The tension between these three superstars culminated in the infamous Montreal Screwjob later that year. One of the most controversial moments in wrestling history. Within a year of the Sunny Days promo, all three had left WWE, marking the end of an era. Sunny's post-WWE life has been tumultuous. She has faced numerous legal issues and battles with addiction. Despite these challenges, she has made attempts to reconcile with her past. At the Raw 15th anniversary, Sunny and Shawn Michaels shared a moment of reconciliation, and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels famously shook hands in the ring. Over a debt on your screen.